Here we have the admissions and census report in Copilot. Users have the ability to filter the data by the state in which their building is located, or of course you can pick a specific building or a group of buildings. To deselect, just click on the option again, and like all reports in Copilot, you can also select the eraser. Define your date range, and then on this table you will see a table that reflects the dates that have been selected, and you can see the number of managed care patients that were in the building on that date, how many managed care patients admitted on that date. Same for Medicaid, Medicare, other, and private. Off to the right, you have a census and admissions tile that will give you month-to-date data in terms of overall average census, number of admissions, average census for Med A, admissions for Med A, same for managed care and for Medicaid. On the bottom, the user can move to additional data tables where you can filter the information by the actual location the patient may have admitted from. So if you wanted to look at information as it relates to admissions from, say, the Adventist Medical Center, you can filter the data here. You also have the ability to filter by the type of episode. Modifications to the census date can be made here in the upper right. And the report will give you the list of the facilities that you've located, the admissions, the deaths, and the discharges. Here you can see admission location by type, by the top 5 hospitals, and then of course at the bottom you can see a trend analysis for the payer information. And like all reports in Copilot, all this data does interact with one another. So if I click on a particular building, for example, I will see the admission locations by type for that building, as well as the top locations and the payer information for the building. I can further dissect the data by clicking on a particular admission location, and here I would see that information reflected. So now I'm just looking at patients that came from Legacy Meridian Park Hospital to the buildings that I've selected, and I get a trend analysis for the payer type. The last few tabs on the report get into the particulars for the census information. And like before, you have the ability to filter by the type of payer, as well as the actual individual payer themselves, the type of episode. Changes to the date range can be made on this page as well. A recap of all the buildings selected as well as their census information, and then census broken down by payer type, by top 5 payers, and then a trend analysis for all the payer information as well. Some of the users in Copilot have asked that we not just use charts, and so we do have tables of data. So if you would prefer to look at Copilot almost in an Excel format, it's laid out on the last 2 tabs in terms of admissions and census. And like all reports in Copilot, if you choose to, you can actually click on the ellipsis at the top and you can export this data. And when you do make this option, you have the ability to actually download the information and then do your own internal analysis with the data, or possibly email it to a user. Census information is also laid out on a table on the last tab. And like the other reports, you can also filter here by the state the building is located in, the actual building, the type of payer, the payer themselves, and you can define a date range. This is the admissions and census report in Copilot.